Hello, happy Friday. Welcome back to Fearless Fridays. Today is Friday, April 29th. This is episode 116 of Fearless Fridays. As always, I welcome you to the show, whether it's your first time watching or you're a return watcher. Welcome back. So what we're going to talk about today is something that I'm pretty sure I've talked about before. In 115 episodes, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, and you can go back and binge all 115 and check them all out and see. But I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before. But I know that I have not spoken about it from this perspective. So I want to kind of offer a new idea, maybe a new idea or a different perspective. And what I want to talk about today is boundaries. So this is something that has come up for me recently, this idea of boundaries. And it's also come up for a few people that I coach as well. How do you set boundaries? How do you articulate your boundaries? How do you know when the boundaries need to be reset? When you reset the boundaries, how do you reset them? How do you articulate that there's a new boundary? How do you change the boundary from a boundary to a wall? How do we know the difference between a boundary and a wall? All of those questions have come up. And so I want to kind of start a conversation with a new perspective, or maybe a different perspective than you have heard about boundaries. So when we think of boundaries, I want to offer that rather than boundaries being a wall, think of a boundary as a fence, right? So let's say you have a fence around your house, okay? You have a fence around your house, and the fence isn't a wall. You know, you can see the house from the other side of the fence, but in that fence there is a little doorway or a little gate, and the gate has a latch on it. So you have your house that's sitting on your property. Around your house, you have a fence. In the fence, you have a gate or a doorway. And on that gate or doorway, you have a little latch. Now, I could say to my friend, someone who I love, someone who I trust, hey, so when you get to my house, because I trust you, here's how you unhook the latch so that you can come into the door along the fence and you can get to my house, right? I'm not going to give that information to a stranger, but I will give that information to my friend. Maybe there's a key and I give my friend a key, my family member a key, whatever it is. The point is that there is a fence, there is a gate or a door in the fence, and then there's a latch or a lock on the gate or on the door that allows you to get closer to the house. And someone you know, someone you trust, someone who has gained your trust would get instructions from you on how to open that latch or how to unlock that gate so that they can get in, so that they don't have to climb over the fence like a creeper, right? That's a boundary. Now let's say that your friend came to your house and they have the key. They know how to unlatch the hook to open the gate to get to your house. But instead of using the key that you've given them, instead of entering the fence or entering the gate the proper way, they decide that they just want to hop on over the fence. And they hop on over the fence and they land in your rose bush, or they hop over your fence and they land on your tulips, or they hop over the fence and they land on your dog, or whatever it is. And you say to them, hey, I gave you a key. This is the way to get in. This is the proper way to get in. If they continue to hop over your fence, hop over your fence, hop over your fence, you're going to take their key away from them because they are not honoring the boundary and they're not honoring the way you told them to come into their home, right? So I like to use that metaphor of a fence with a gate, with a latch or a lock to demonstrate what a boundary is. A boundary is something that protects whatever it is encompassing. In this case, your boundaries protect you, but your boundaries also let certain people in and out, and you give the instructions on how to best get in and out. This boundary is the best way to communicate with me. This boundary is going to ensure that when you communicate with me or when you deal with me, you get the best result possible. So a boundary could be, hey, I really would love to talk to you on the phone, but if you could call me between 3 and 6, that would be the best time because that's when I'm fully available. If somebody keeps calling you at noon, or they call you at 8, or they call you at 2, or they call you at midnight, they're not honoring the boundary. So they're not going to get the best of you, right? You've set the boundary. You've told them what the boundary is. They're not honoring it. So they're not going to get the best of you. And it's great to think about this on the other side. I'm going to honor the boundary that this person has set so that I can get the best out of them, so that when I communicate with them and interact with them, I get the best result possible. So if a person continues to hop over your fence when you gave them a key, or call you outside of the time frame that you told them you were available, you're going to take that privilege away from them, right? You're going to say to me, hey, you're not honoring, or you're going to say to them, hey, you're not honoring the boundary that I set. So we might need to make a shift here, right? So that's, I think, a great way to think about boundaries on both sides. As the person who is setting the boundary, you are letting other people know, this is the best way to communicate with me. This is the best way to engage with me. And if you honor the way that I've told you to engage with me, you're going to get the best result from me. And on the other side, as the person who is hearing the boundary, you know they're telling me how to engage with them so that I get the best result from them. So it's in everyone's best interest. First of all, it's in our best interest to set a boundary so that people aren't just doing whatever they want to do whenever, however, and then we're frustrated because we haven't set a boundary. So it's best for us all to learn how to set a boundary. But then also on the other side of that, we have to learn how to honor the boundaries that have been set, that have been given to us, so that we get the best result. This is not a means of control. This is not, I want to control this person, so I'm going to set this boundary. Or I want to manipulate this person, so I'm going to set this ridiculous boundary. This is simply a way of saying, this is the best way to get the best result from me. As the person setting the boundary, this is the best way to get a good result from me. As the person on the other side of the boundary, okay, let me listen. They're telling me how to get the best result from them, so let me listen and honor that. Now, when you start trampling on the boundaries, that's when privileges get taken away. That's when interaction changes. And sometimes that's when walls get built. If I tell you the best way to communicate with me and you continue to dishonor what I've said is the best way to communicate with me, then sometimes that results in, okay, no more communication because you haven't honored the boundary that I have set. And boundaries don't say, I don't love you, I don't care about you, I don't like you. Boundaries say, I want to communicate with you. I want to engage with you. So I'm going to give you a little cheat code on how to get the best out of me. This is not my way of controlling or manipulating you. This is not my way of saying, I don't like you, I don't love you, I can't stand you. I want to engage with you, so I'm going to give you the best way to engage with me, right? That's what boundaries say. That's what boundaries do. But if you don't honor the boundaries, a lot of times privileges, interaction gets taken away, and then that's when walls get built. You didn't honor the boundary, so now rather than giving you the key to the gate to the fence, you get your keys taken away and you need to call me before you come over. You don't get to just pop by anymore. Now you need to call me when you come over. Or this is the best way to communicate with me. Call me at this time. Don't call me at that time. Okay, you're calling me all times of the day and night outside of the time frame that I said is the best. So don't call me anymore. You don't get to call me anymore because you have dishonored my boundary, right? So that's what boundaries are. And I think that was kind of a long explanation, but I love thinking about it in that way because it's not a means of control. It's not a means of manipulation. It's not saying, I'm going to control you. I'm going to make you see who's the boss. It's just saying, this is the best way to interact with me. This is the best way to get the best result from me. And if you cannot honor the boundary that I've set, then privileges get taken away, interaction gets taken away, all kinds of things get taken away because you have not honored the boundary. And when we get frustrated with people because they're doing things that we don't like or they're saying things that we don't like, we have to ask ourselves, did I set a boundary? Have I articulated to them or communicated to them what the boundary is? And that doesn't always mean saying, hey, this is the boundary. Sometimes you can set a boundary simply by the way you interact with a person. You interact with them in a certain way so that they know, okay, this is the best way to talk to her. This is the best way to talk to him. This is the best way to interact with him. That's what a boundary is. The best way to interact with you. And the question then we have to ask is, when you are dishonoring a person's boundary, or when you're trampling on a person's boundary, do you really care about that person? Do you really honor that person? Or do you just want what you want? Because I think sometimes that happens too, where we're trying to get our point across. We want to do things the way we want to do things, and we're dishonoring the boundary. We're ignoring the boundary. And it's not about our care for that person or our love for that person. We simply want what we want, and we're willing to trample over the boundary to get it. That's not okay. That's not okay. So I think this has been a long explanation, a long chat about boundaries, but it's something that I really wanted to share because I think it's a great way to think about boundaries. And we all need them. We have to set them and we have to honor them. And setting them means that I am saying this is the best way to interact with me. And honoring them means I honor you, I care about you, I like you, I love you enough to interact with you in the way that you say is best so that I can get the best result. Ta-da! That's all it is. So thank y'all so much for joining me. Let me know in the comments what you think about this talk on boundaries. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can let me know in the comments anywhere, or you can send me a DM. Keep it respectful. Keep it respectful. Okay. All right. As always, like, follow, share, subscribe, and start a conversation because I love having conversations with y'all. So, as always, the euphoria of fearlessness trumps the comfort of staying safe. I will see y'all next week. Happy Friday. Set those boundaries. Honor the boundaries that have been set. See y'all next week.